I'm scared, Devin. I'm scared. I'm really scared.
Why are you scared, Stefan?
Hello and welcome to this new video, which is called Noob Tries Flutter. My name is Stefan and I am the noob who is actually going to try this wonderful framework here. With me today is my colleague Devin, who is our local Flutter expert. He is a Google developer expert for Flutter. So he has the official Google certification that he knows what he's talking about. So welcome, Devin, to this video.
Thanks. How long have you been doing Flutter, Stefan?
Okay, so I think I started my Flutter journey around 7 years ago, and I stopped my Flutter journey around 7 years ago. So I tried it back then when it was still new and still popular. The hype was there, and I tried it out, and then I moved on to different things. So I mostly do iOS lately and web. But since AI is coming for all of our jobs anyways, I thought it might be good for me to try out new things. And so I want to try Flutter. And I thought that you might be the perfect person to try that with.
Okay. And why do you think Flutter is better than iOS?
I think Flutter is equally as good as iOS because I've always liked the idea, of course, of having a single code base for different platforms. And Flutter has been quite impressive by adding other platforms compared to when I had a look at it first. So back then it was still iOS and Android. But nowadays you can also do web, you can do, I think, IoT as well. So it has at least a very nice promise of combining different platforms with only one code base. And also, since I'm coming from the iOS world, where Swift UI was a new thing a while back, I even then realized that a lot of the ideas of having declarative UI is also a baseline of the entire Flutter framework. Seeing this reminded me of like how cool it was to actually write UIs with Flutter, although I haven't done many of them. It just has a nice promise. I want to see what's behind the curtain there.
I mean, Swift UI and all the other stuff came out after Flutter, yes? So we're just going to assume they just got inspired separately, yes?
If that's how you want to put it, then yes, probably, right?
Sure, fair enough. I still would need to fact check the information because it does sound like fake news that you did Flutter 7 years ago. We'll put that skill to the test today. What exactly are we doing, Stefan?
So the format that we thought about was that you give me 3 challenges today. We start with an easy challenge, then we go to a medium one, and in the end, I'll have a hard one. It will be building UIs. I will receive images from you. So I will get a screenshot from a phone, and I need to build that UI in a constrained time. And I'm very curious because like building UI under pressure is quite intense and something different, I would say.
So I would say I have sent Stefan like 3 images on his Slack already. And this is going to be fun because we have not seen each other's code in like iOS and Flutter. Especially I have not seen his code in Flutter. I have made it just based on like all the stuff he says about like 7 years of experience in Flutter. Let's see how much he's actually done. We may see this video where he just like flames out and just in the first one and like he can't build a simple UI. That's very possible. Maybe he impresses me and does all of this UI and like he's some kind of UI wizard I do not know about. Either way, it's going to be entertaining for me because I'm not coding, and that's mainly why I signed up for this video. So, do you want to start, or how do you feel about this?
Want to start is a formulation that is not entirely correct, I would say. I hope I'm doing fine. I like building UIs, so I hope I can make up with enthusiasm what I'm lacking in technical skill.
If you do well, I have a coworker who can do Flutter well. It's a win. If you do not do well, I will laugh. I will have you struggling to do Flutter for eternity on YouTube. So either way, I'm not losing a lot in this situation. So let's see how it goes.
I'm happy to hear that you don't have anything to lose. That's great.
I'm a very selfless person. So let's see how this goes.
That's correct. All right. So do you have any last words for me before we start?
I can't condense like I don't even know how many years of Flutter knowledge into like 2 sentences. I'm gonna leave off any advice just in case I actually accidentally help you or something. So yeah, just super curious to see how it goes now.
You're not the only one. So let's dive in and let's see what the first challenge is going to hold for me. Shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay. So welcome to challenge 1. I will now pull up the image that you sent me and you can see it on screen now. This looks like a card with like a classic profile view? Like, is it fine if I, like, instead of the image, because I don't have a, how do you call it?
I'm gonna let you think. It's just fun to watch you think.
Yeah.
You can use a placeholder.
Yeah. Right.
But I'll call this my first hint. You can use a circle avatar instead.
Right. So, are we ready to start the timer for that? Because then
course.
I will switch. I started a new project here, a new Flutter project with no changes at all. And you can see on the right, it has like the default Flutter app with a lot of the comments here that I don't really care about. All right. But let me look at the design again. So, okay, so what do we have? We have a card, right? This is the card. And then I see things one above the other. So I think I would use a column for that. And here it's a row. And then it's a button at the bottom. So that should be fine. I need to check how I can change like text sizes and stuff like that. But let's try the skeleton of everything first. So I think there's a card widget. So I'll just start typing. And it usually has a child widget, right? So let's say
when you run this, you're gonna get a surprise.
Yeah, I get a surprise because I was changing the wrong thing. So let's change this back because I need to change the placeholder, of course. Of course.
See, when you say everything is a widget in Flutter, that's what you mean, you know? You could just add the whole body to the title and it'll still work, unlike other frameworks, let's just say.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, so I would love to have padding here. I don't think there's a...
How do you do that?
There's a padding property, so I probably... I can wrap this with a padding.
What's good job. Yeah.
Yeah, with the command dot. I remembered that from my brief history.
From your extensive research, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I know I can hit the command dot, and I can wrap this with a padding. That's fine. I want this whole thing centered though, and as I know, I can command dot, and I can wrap it with a center widget. It's now centered on screen. Can I wrap this with a column as well? Yes. Nice. Okay, so so circle avatar is probably the one. There's a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds good. And it can have a child again. Who would have thought? Okay, and I can probably do a color as well, right? Is a color a widget as well?
A color is not a widget.
Sorry?
A color is not a widget,
it's
no.
Not a widget. I thought everything is a widget.
No.
So,
color is a property.
Yeah, but fun fact, in Swift UI, a color can also be used as a view, which is the equivalent to a widget. So like I could, if I want to have like a background color, I can just use a color for that, which I think is quite convenient. Color.
Why are you adding a profile text to Circle Avatar?
Because I thought I probably need to have a child element. Let's see. I
No.
I don't. All right. Let's do.
You don't need to have anything at all. Actually, you can remove everything.
Okay. I'm missing a comma, I think. All right. That looks beautiful already. So let's remove
that is the peak. That is peak UI. That is peak human UI.
Yes, I'm like I'm a I'm a wonderful UI developer. So I just have a good design sense, All right. I want to make this bigger though, so I can change the radius probably, make it 50. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. Okay, so text has style. That sounds good. What is strut style? That doesn't sound real. But okay. let's do style.
Text is unbelievably complicated. Like I just cannot. Like when we were building the SDK, I'm not even joking. Just the message input is probably like 4,000-5,000 lines at least, maybe more.
Oh wow.
Maybe double that actually. Yeah, it's crazy. So the thing is, text. Most text is rendered on platform, but Flutter renders its own text. So the thing is, it needs to paint everything well. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that with the baseline and the strut and just the styling of it is so complicated that you just go into it at some point. And I legitimately considered writing a full series on how text is rendered at some point because it was so complicated, in the lower ends of it. But yeah.
Okay, that sounds complicated. And I don't want anything of that. So I'm fine with what I've done. I've just added a font size which is bigger and a font weight. So I'm fine with that. All right. So now I already mentioned that I know about the size box property. So let's add this. And I need to give it a height.
Look at you flexing your Flutter knowledge.
Yep. What can I say? I might be old, but I know certain tricks, All right, let's do a size box of height 4, which is impressive. I need to give it some form of color probably, because otherwise... Do I need to set the width as well, or would it automatically go to a width of 10?
The width, yeah.
But I still am not seeing it, so does it need to have a child again? But I just want to have a...
I'm going to let you go down this rabbit hole before I help, so let's see what you're trying to do.
Okay, so I want to basically this line here, right? I want to somehow draw that now. And my idea was, let's do a sized box here, and it can just act as that line. But the problem is
your React is good. A size box is just like a div. A div in itself has no actual
okay, so
visible component.
Okay, so but now I need to... So I would love to have a color again, just that I can add as a child, but I don't. So is there anything like a...
Think. Just to be clear, there's a far better answer than what you're doing, but I want to see where you're going. So if there was a sized box but with color, what would you call it?
Colored box. Good
job.
Nice. That was a good hit, because I probably would have taken me a while. Okay, can I get a width here as well, or a height? Apparently not. Wait a second.
There should be.
Let's put this away.
Or maybe I'm misremembering at this point.
Colored box.
Oh, it doesn't. Who?
So maybe I need to do a sized box now. Okay. I'm not sure if it's driving you crazy already, but let's do a height.
No, it's really funny, but you will understand why later.
All right.
I will tell you why it's funny.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean that's close. Let's do 2. I'm wondering if I don't do a width, does it take the full width though? It doesn't. So let me this is just I'm in a time constraint here, right? So let's hard code a size, a width here. That's fine. Let's make it a little bit.
So I'll just tell you why it was funny for me.
Okay.
In terms of UI and not Flutter necessarily, what is that component called?
A divider, probably, or like a.
Okay, and good job.
So is there a divider? There is a divider. So how would that look? Oh yeah, that looks way better. All right, but I'll keep my colored box because I've come to love it over time. It's
fair enough.
Become a friend, and I don't wanna lose that. But all right, so we have the first elements here, and now I need to get the bottom ones. I already mentioned, I think this is probably going to be a row, and then a button at the bottom. So let's start with the row here. And by the way, I would, if it was a production app or whatever, I would probably like refactor this into separate things. But like I'm fine with it being just one widget and basically everything crammed into one file. But I know that you do split up things. Okay, so I need two texts, which is a bigger one and a smaller one.
Look at Mr. No's production code.
Yeah. No, that's fine, right? 14 even. No, 14 is too much. Let's do 13. All right. So I have that, and I'm an efficient guy. So let's take this column and duplicate it twice. Okay, that doesn't look great. Let me just quickly change the texts because I think one said followers. But it should take up more space here, the row. And it should probably have... Okay, so I know that there's two things. There's alignments, right? So there's main axis alignment. Main axis in a row should be horizontal, I think, right? So can I do this and then say space evenly? I mean, this is basically CSS, right? Nice. And it looks really good. Like I thought I need to change the...
Yeah, it does.
I thought I need to change the size of the row to be bigger, but that works quite well. I think the button is called elevated button. So let's make it empty on pressed here. And then the child should be follow. Text. Follow. And this is...
I wonder what you did wrong.
Yeah. I have a closing thing here. Oh, nice. So that looks pretty
Nice
much
job.
like I needed to, right?
Yeah.
So elevated button was the right choice. So this is probably like a material thing then, right? I always loved how material design looks, by the way. I think it's just very beautiful. Like I like all the ideas they have for it and how it looks. Okay, so now
I remember when material came out on like Android 5.0 and everybody hated it. Like all of it. Like it was such universal hate for it initially.
Yeah, but well, I think everybody was wrong. I always really liked it.
No. So I think at some point, everybody was like, "Hey, every single Google app looks the same. Every single app looks the same now." So when they like redid material design, then it kind of came back to it.
That's true, but I think like they have nice approaches for it to make it look very much more personal. There are much more design options to tailor it towards your
Fair
look,
enough,
right?
yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
I think I always liked it. So, all right. So I think I'm pretty close. The only problem that I see is that my card is taking up the entire space, and I want to try.
Why do you think that is?
Okay, so yeah, like I have two thoughts. So either there's somehow has to do with the card automatically taking as much space as it can, because I'm not fully aware.
I'll tell you what.
The other one is that I think there's column, and I think I can do main, because I saw that when I typed in for the row, I saw a size property, and I'll try with the main axis size here, because I might if I do main axis size minimum. Yes, nice.
That
works. So it still is taking up, not like I don't want to have it that like spreading the entire width. I mean, I could cheat a little bit because I can probably wrap the card in a padding and just give it padding. So let me try this. And probably a little bit more, so 12. 20. Yeah, I think that's pretty close.
That is pretty close. I'll give that one to you. Congratulations, you did the
Yes.
simple challenge.
Yes. I want to see confetti flying in now. Let's see.
Well, I'm not even going to tell you how much time you took because you will cry a little bit if you see it.
So it was more.
But that doesn't. It was well more. Let's just say it that way.
Okay.
But you know what? We celebrate the wins, and
That's good.
we like. I appreciate the fact that you actually took your time. You did everything correctly, and you had a lot of more basic knowledge because I think a lot of people just come in with like a lot of ideas of widgets, but they don't necessarily try to study. Okay, what are these small properties and stuff like that? So yeah, in an age of AI, you actually studied. So good job.
But thank you, first of all. Thanks. I appreciate that. I'm happy because I didn't have to Google anything. Two things. First is, I think Dart is a very intuitive language. I haven't written Dart code in years, but still I didn't have any problem just figuring it out on the go. And the second thing is I think the experience of developing is quite good because by just hovering over elements, I was able to figure out most of the properties and most of the things that I needed. So I think it's also a testament to the very good like developer experience that the Flutter team has created. Just a hat tip for that. But nice.
Absolutely.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy that I was able to get this done in pretty much the time, right?
Yeah, let's call it that way. Well, we're not going to discuss the time. That doesn't mean you get more time for the next one, just FYI. But
so let's jump into challenge 2.
Yeah.
I want to add again, I was able to finish challenge 1. Nice. Cool. So let's jump into the second one.
That's the reinforcement you need. Yes, just give yourself a pep talk. Challenge 2,
Nice.
and the third one is a difficult one. So yeah, let's see how it goes.
Thanks for destroying my hope. All right, with the first challenge done, let's now take a look at the image that you sent me for the second challenge. And I have pulled it up here. And we can see this is now the medium challenge. It looks quite more sophisticated, I need to say. It's a weather screen with, like basic information. But it has a nice gradient, I think, in the background, like from a deep blue to a lighter blue. No clue how to do that. And then some images and these nice cards with glass backgrounds. That's going to be interesting to implement. And then these icons. Yeah, I need to take a look. But yeah, I think I have ideas how to do it. So I don't have further questions. So I think I'm just fine to start. So any words from your side?
That's a lot of confidence. No, I expected this to go much worse than it actually is going. So I'm happy, but I'm also somewhat just disappointed. I'm holding it in though.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, sounds good.
I think
let's see how you do on this. And yeah, I think there's some things that is just kind of catch you off more than anything else. It's like the things you just mentioned.
Cool.
So, but I'm really looking forward to see like how you actually tackle those because there are things you've already done before, but like they might look a bit more difficult than they are. So
yeah.
Okay, all the best for the next one then.
I'm curious, but like I have a superpower, I think, and that is like confidence for no reason. And I think I can apply this here. But yeah, all right. So I switch back, and if you're ready, you can start the timer, and I will.
You don't get an excuse this time. Yeah, you have 20 minutes.
Cool, that's fine.
Are we ready?
All right. So I
am starting.
Nice. I had it's fine if I just leave out this app bar.
Yeah, just leave it. Just leave it. That just because I needed an application for the demo app I was making.
Yeah. All right. So I'll just like remove the homepage here and just put it all into home because I think that should be fine.
Oh, that's a dangerous thing, my friend.
Is it? Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just I was gonna not interrupt you this time, but like yeah, that's a dangerous thing to do. So
Okay.
I would suggest just erase what you did in the homepage and then just start from there.
All right. I need to have a background that is blue. Let's make everything a column, because like I had the problem that the column in the first challenge was spreading across the entire height of the screen, and I want to get rid of that. So let's do children here, but is there a background property on column? There's not. That's not ideal. So how could I change the background? I don't want to use a size or a colored. You could use a colored box, right? I've done that before, but that would be weird, right? Colored box. Let's do a color of color. I don't know. Colors.blue. Do this, and then have it a child of column with children. And the first children is going to be a row, because I saw a row. And in this row here, I want to have a column again. I'll be doing things a little bit more quicker here because I have more to do. So that's good, right? I have at least a background color. Like I need to see why this is happening. I have an idea. Yeah. So all right.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a small thing before you just to kind of save you a lot of time. Wrap the colored area with a widget called the safe area. So sorry, wrap the colored box with a widget called the safe area.
So I know the safe area because there is a similar thing in SwiftUI, but I thought if I wrap the colored box in there, it won't spread at the top. So I would like to
fair enough.
Wrap the column with a safe area.
I think in my mind I did that because usually that's not how you do background colors. So you usually just wrap the body with a safe area.
Yeah. Okay. So I did that, which is fine. That's working for me. And I will change the text style here. So the row has the column as a children, and it has an icon here. I think there is icons, but I don't know how to do this. An icon has an icon data property, which is there a thing like icons? There is. Cool. I don't know what this one is. This is location. That doesn't work. Cool. That sounds fair. All right. So let's see. We have the sun here, and then degree, and then a description and how it feels like. Okay, that should be fairly quick. All right. So we have this row. Okay. So now I need to have an icon again. And now that I know how to do it, it should probably be quite easy. So we have that. We need to have the color. It should be colors.yellow. And the size is pretty large. So let's do 80. Yeah, that's fine. Let's make it even 100. Okay, so that's fine. I want to have some spacing for the columns. And I know that's the spacing property. Let's do 20. I can fine tune this later on. And we want to have a text of 24 degrees. I don't know where the degree sign is, to be honest, on my keyboard. So is it fine if I just leave it at 24?
Yeah, all good.
Now I need to have these cards. And, there's 4. And I will try something because I want to try a card widget here and give it an opacity. And I want to see how that looks. That's my approach for this. But I know it's going to be a row with children. And now I'll create a card. And the child will be a column. And now let's try the approach with wrapping this with opacity. To be... Well, it's probably not working, unfortunately, because it will reduce the opacity for everything. That's too bad. Let me get to this later. I want to at least get something done. So I will take the entire card, repeat it 3 times, and I have this now, so that's fine. But now I want to have a main axis alignment of, I saw that there's a space evenly, which looks okay, I think. All right, I have this. I don't have the nice background, but I'm fine with that for now. Okay, I will do this card now. Font size 20, and that is 14. It's 40.
And that's time. I'll let you finish that last thing.
All right.
Nice, hands off.
That's fine. Like yeah, not touching anything anymore. All right, that was, I have to say that was tougher at least, because it was just more elements. And for some, I didn't really know how to do it. So for example, like these cards, I really don't know how to do this.
There's a few things you could really do. Like I've seen a few approaches to these. Most times, like I think one way you could do it is just maybe have a card, essentially setting a color, like a background color that has a translucency of some kind. Like for example, just doing a container and a background color. That's a very valid thing because
container.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a card will automatically add elevation and stuff as well. This is not necessarily a card. Whereas the thing below that could be a card, because you can see the elevation, for example, in the lower box, but in the hourly forecast, there's no elevation as such. So you could do a container, add some border radius, and then set the background color to one with like low opacity. The San Francisco and Monday and the pin, I think you tried reinventing the wheel a bit there, because the thing is, Flutter actually has a widget for that. How did you feel about this challenge overall?
Okay. So, like, I felt that it was more difficult now, just because of the amount of UI I needed to build. And there's these little things that, like, yes, everything is a widget, but for example, like, why the heck does this not align here? Like the thing you mentioned with the background, right? Okay, that's something I just didn't know, so that's fine. So I was a little bit more confused, but also, of course, it was a little bit due to time restrictions, which is convenient for me to say.
I think when it comes to a lot of this, you kind of have to understand the kind of box space layout that you're really doing. And for example, when you're working with the first time, like the rows and columns, for example, you had an idea of, okay, like that column is like super tiny, but like if I add something in the middle, then it'll expand, because a row tries to expand as much as possible. So you know that it's going to fill the screen. This kind of a whole bunch of rows and columns, then there's simply an align widget. There's just a widget for that. So,
but I think I didn't quite make the second challenge. I think I'm okay with it because of the limited time. But what do you think? Like, will you give me a almost done, or what's your judgment on that?
I think the main thing to understand is you had very constrained time. And the thing is, for example, if I were to do it, I have a lot of other knowledge. And when I say other knowledge, I mean like, just specific widgets that could simplify the whole thing. But what you have to understand is that's more like, that's cognitive overhead that I have effectively, that I have to keep this in mind, that I have these widgets to use. I have that kind of stuff. For like, considering you are basically constructing all of these widgets from scratch. Like I think you did a good enough job. Like I honestly did not expect you to come this far. Take the as a compliment or insult, whatever you want. But either way, like I think you got all the components, and if you had more time, you would have done more alignment and stuff like that. So yeah, good job.
Thanks. I'll take that as a compliment. Although you quite heavily indicated that you didn't think I would make it that far, which hurts a little bit, not gonna lie. But that's fine. So I'd say let's get into the third and the last challenge.
Well, it's gonna be something of a horrifying experience for you. I'm not gonna lie. And just to be clear, this is a difficult challenge in all senses of the word. This would be a difficult challenge for a fairly experienced Flutter developer. So to do in that. So we're gonna toss you into the deep end and just see well if you sink or swim really.
Cool. That's what I love to hear as a motivation. All right, so with the last challenge on the line, let's take a look at what you gave me. And I need to laugh already because this looks challenging. All right, so I see I have this image again. All right, I'll do a color for that again. Is that fine?
You can do a colored box, but I want the 20% off on it though. I need my colored boxes 20% off.
Yeah, that's fine. I wouldn't charge you the full price for anything, Deven. You know, this is going to be interesting. Like, okay, strike through, and then half filled stars. Cool. And then I need to does this need to be clickable?
It should be, but you know what? Like considering the time you have, it's fine. Do whatever. You kind of also have to add to cart and buy now though.
Okay, that's fine. I think I'm good to go. So are you ready to start the timer?
I'm a bit concerned about this timer, if I'm honest.
Okay, let's do something. Before I start, let me clean up the old code. Okay, so you can start the timer now.
Okay, we're going.
All right, I need to have a layout again, which is going to be, I mean, it's like I'll probably use a column. It should be scrollable at like usually, but like I'm cheating a little bit and doing a column for that. Okay, so the first thing is we wanted to have a colored box, and let's make it a fun color such as black. That looks perfect. I think the box needs to have a child as well.
I'm not an expert in colors or a designer, but that doesn't look very black to me.
Sometimes I'm just so happy that you are there to help me. Okay, so the colored box, did it have a size property? It didn't. So if I have a child here, do I need to have a sized box again? I think I did that before, but I'm...
A small hint, because this time I really do want to help you because this is a difficult one. Just use a container. We should not do it in the production app because it will just bloat your app for no reason.
All right. I remember there's something like an expand thing. Maybe it's an expanded widget. I'm not sure.
Maybe what you can try, and again, I'm just trying to be helpful here. You can just set the width to double or infinity.
How do you do it? Double?
Dot infinity.
Double?
It's not a capital D.
Oh, that's good. Nice. I'll use that. Okay, so I want to have this 20% off thing, right? And now I think I remember that there is something called a stack.
There is something called a stack, yeah.
So I want to use that and wrap it in a stack. And a stack probably has multiple children then. So let's do the container in there. And let's get rid of the child here. Okay, so I think I want to stack things on top of each other. So let's just first try this with a text that says 20% off, which is probably going to be black. So that doesn't really help me much. So let's give it a text style of colors.white. Oh, nice. That looks very good. Okay, so I have the right thing. I just need to align it differently. And there is an alignment property here, which I like. Alignment. What is it? Oh, alignment. Top. Top right. Nice.
Hey,
I'm surprised.
nice.
I'm really surprised because that looks actually quite good. All right, so it should have a red background and it's white, so that's good. The problem is I see here is that I don't have the option to round the corners here.
It should have it, no?
Which
doesn't it have a radius property or something? Something. Or like border radius, something or the other.
That's good. I really like that. Okay, so I'm good. So let's continue with the rest. Okay, I have more things. Let's do the titles real quick. Or the texts. Sorry, it's called title in... Where is it? It's not called title in SwiftUI. I'm sorry. Okay, so I have premium leather jacket and a price. So that's good. But does text style have something like a strike through?
It does, and I will always forget how to do it.
Okay, I think I see it's decoration style maybe. Text decoration style dashed.
No, I think it tried decoration, just decoration. I'll always forget this, my god.
Text decoration. Overline?
No, line through.
Line through. Nice! That works. Let's do the list view then. It's fine.
You can do the same thing in the row as well. A list view will complicate things for you a bit.
Okay, then let's do a row. Okay, I want to have an icon. And it's probably a star. Oh, there's a star half. That is perfect. Oh, I love this. Nice. Okay, so I want to have like 4 of these and then a star. Which, what is it? Half. Oh, nice.
Nice.
I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky that this exists because I'm not sure how I would have done this otherwise. To be honest, maybe with a I don't know how I would have done it with a outline in a stack.
Ooh.
With another one clipped somehow, probably. I don't know. But it would have been...
That's an impressive thought. That's a lot of effort for half a star.
Okay. So I'm good with that. And now I need to have this to be selectable, right? Or at least have these things. Okay. I will have a row. I have an idea how I could approach this. Let's make this make the row. I might. Okay, so yeah, that's fine. I create a row, and so each of these should probably be a button, right? Because they should be clickable. I mean, let's see if I have time to make this into a widget that is actually clickable. But I think there's...
You do not have the time to do that.
Yeah,
like,
I probably won't
you
have
need to
time.
hurry up a tiny bit.
Yeah, so I have the outlined button. I think that's what I need. And let's give it a text of XS. And that doesn't work because of this. So that's pretty
that
close.
doesn't look... Yeah.
And I think that looks quite cool.
It does.
It's a little bit too much padding inside, which I don't really like, but I'm That's okay. Give it slight spacing. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look perfect, but I can even click it, right? So that's cool.
Yeah.
So I leave it for now, and I'll try to add the logic if I have time. But for now, let's add the bottom thing here. Okay, this should be a card, but it's somehow over the rest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's do this. I'm trying this with alignment. Okay, so basically I have the
4 minutes left. Let's go.
Okay. Good point. But yeah, you can see it's at the bottom here. That's what I wanted to have with the align.
Yep.
Okay, so it needs to be a row.
One thing you now need to calculate though is that if there's a safe area, it is always going to be outside of that area. Like it cannot enter into that kind of unsafe area.
Yeah, like I'm thinking about that in a second. Yeah, filled button looks good. And now I need to do main axis alignment and probably space evenly.
Yeah.
That's not perfect, but I'm fine. Okay. So I wanna have, I think, so the shadow. I would love to have the shadow to be at the top because that's what it is here, but I really don't know how to do this. So, what's the time?
You have 1 minute left.
Okay, so if I do padding here, that's good. So what is the shadow elevation? Maybe if I do more elevation, it will give a similar effect. But I probably would have needed to put the stack up one level, and then I should have been fine.
Yeah,
basically
and
put the
time's
column into a safe area. All right, I am quite happy with what I have achieved in this time frame. Of course, it's not perfect, but yeah. So what do you think? What do you think? How did it go for me this time?
This was a bit unexpected, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I just assumed that, okay, you would probably do the first one, struggle a bit with the second one, third one, you would just collapse entirely, right? Like, I didn't expect much out of it. But when you actually did it, I think the first one you did well, but I wasn't too like, I mean, it was a surprise, but it wasn't like, it wasn't completely unexpected because it wasn't like too much like no heavy components, no like tricky layouts, nothing like that. But when you went to medium, it's like the intermediate challenge, I think, okay, I was like, okay, now the cracks are beginning to show. Then like, you know, we were slowly getting to the point where it's going to be like full collapse and everything. And somehow you picked it completely back up in the last one because I think you did quite well. Like, I think all the components, especially with, you know, you were willing to put in the effort to kind of make that start, like, and talk about clipping and stuff like that. Like it showed that you did your research, unless, you know, you just have like a sneaky little tab somewhere or like some kind of iPad next to you. If you don't have that, then I am quite positively surprised by this whole result, and kudos to you because yeah, like maybe you're not lying about your 7-year old escapade, you know, when you did Flutter before. So now looking back at this challenge, now that, you know, we've made you do something in like a hackathon style format and everything, tell me what you find of Flutter compared to you trying that out like quite some time ago, and like how does it, for example, compare to iOS or your general tech stack of today?
So it's an interesting question and probably like very, very complex one as well. First of all, the most important thing, I really enjoyed it. I liked building UIs with Flutter back when I did it, but certain things came back decently well. I think it's still to some point counterintuitive to think of everything as a widget, because the problem is that you don't know all the widgets. That's a little bit tricky part, that you need to spend some time to get to know these widgets that exist. I remember that there is a series on YouTube, I think it's called Widget of the Week or something like that. And probably that's something that I would need to watch all the way through to be up to date with everything I can do. But yeah, I'm happy. I think the last challenge specifically felt easier, I think, because I gotten the hang of it a little bit more. But also I think like having the entire design built fully functional, it would have taken quite a lot more time to get everything just right. So what do you say overall? Would you hire me as a junior dev already?
Well, you've already disappointed me in terms of like I really wanted you to like crash and burn, but like you sadly did not. I think if you like the way you created the UIs and everything, it showed that you've done some research and you've done some you didn't need a lot of help. And I think the best thing for me is that you knew some of these kind of minute things, something about alignment, something about like, because widgets in a way are like kind of like you can effectively have like rote memorization quite easily. When you were coding, it showed that you did learn the smaller things about the widgets. I mean, yeah, like I think this would be a very, very promising start for a very good Flutter developer in the future, I guess. So again, congratulations to you for that.
Thanks a lot. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. To sum this up a little bit, I think what really helped was also that the developer experience is done quite well. So I think the SDK already helps you to figure out how to solve certain problems. But yeah, otherwise, I'm both happy for the positive feedback that you've given me, and of course, a little bit disappointed that you expect me to fail miserably. But that's fine. I can live with that. I would say thanks for taking the time to give me these challenges and to be helpful at certain points and to be such a generous judge. I really appreciate that.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, and I look forward to seeing all the kind of stuff all the stuff you're gonna learn while trying not to be replaced by AI.
Thanks everybody for watching, of course. And if you want to see more of these formats, then feel free to comment which frameworks we or some other members of our teams should try out, and we'll try to get this going. We really enjoyed this format, so if you enjoyed it as well, then please leave a like, follow, and subscribe to the channel. And we'll be back with some other content.